All right. So, welcome to the first session of Microsoft Zero to Hero in 2025. I'm so happy that we kick off another session here together with Hamid. And yes, after a lot of amazing things that we've had in 2024, Hamid, we are going to continue that, repeat that, but not even like last year, but also more. So, Hamid, let's go. Hello, how are you? And then I would love to share some stats with people.
Absolutely. Excited to hear that. Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for joining for the first session of 2025 and another session with the Zero to Hero community. We're so excited to plan a lot of new learning initiatives and going toward stronger than before with the new learning plans. And we are so excited to see that every one of us having the opportunity of learning from each other in the community, getting certified, learning new stuff from amazing professionals that we are having in the on the stage and learning from them. So let's go for that.
Yeah, that's amazing, Hamid. We actually, it's not only good for learners, but it was always good for us because we found a
Absolutely.
lot of amazing experts, new friends, and we learned from them very good. And it was amazing to have these people from around the globe in this stage, and they had this dedication to share their knowledge with all of us. But before we kick off today's session, Hamid, just wanted to share some amazing things together. So last year we've had over 150 sessions and it was amazing. Plus we invited over 80 speakers, different speakers, and they've talked about all Microsoft cloud technologies from Azure to M365, from M365 to on-premise. So it was amazing, and I'm so glad that we had this chance to have this platform to be able to share with this amazing audience and learners that we have in both learning rooms and also in social. And beside that, we've had 65,000 impression in across all of social media, and it's wow, I would say. So thank you so much to all of you, audiences, experts, every single of you to help us to build this community, continue with this community, and it's so pleasure to have you in this amazing Microsoft ecosystem learning behind all of these things that we have. And also thank you so much from us to Microsoft Learn that they've helped us, support us. We are part of Microsoft Learn, and we are so happy that we have had this chance to build something together with Microsoft Learn. So, Hamid, do you have anything to add, or we should start with session?
No, let's go ahead. I'm so excited just to kick off the session.
Amazing. So yeah, today again, I'm so happy that we have this legend for the first session of 2025 at Microsoft Zero to Hero. He's going to talk about one of my favorite topics. I'm going to, sit like this and learn from him because he's amazing. He's really amazing, guys. You are going to enjoy about what he's going to share about Copilot Studio. So, with no delay, let's continue with other slides. Hamid, Microsoft Learn. This is your favorite part of the slides.
Yes, Microsoft Learn, my favorite homepage.
Sure.
So as always, we share throughout the years also with the community, and also I guess um, in 2024 we mentioned it a lot, like make it your homepage, and it then became hashtag make it your homepage, and it's Microsoft Learn and learn on a daily basis. So you have the opportunity of building your own customized learning paths. There are great free features within Microsoft Learn that you can leverage. Free exam practices, learning materials, modules, collections that you can build, challenges that we can move forward, especially with AI nowadays in the market. And Microsoft as a lead in the market for AI, and we can all see like how amazing technologies, features, and the things that we can leverage within our environment in workplaces in a daily basis. So just learn, plan for 2025, and start learning AI and cloud technologies together with Microsoft, and eventually it will have the greatest impact in your career, with the certifications that you are getting, with the things that you are learning, and adding value in a daily basis to what you are doing, what you are learning. Coming to learning rooms like Zero to Hero community and other learning rooms, you can also join and being in touch directly with the professionals and other learners. We're always online there just to answer your questions, also ask questions to you. And we want you to be on a stage. We want you to share your experience with everyone with us. And it's really a great initiative from Microsoft Learn that we all of us connected in learning rooms, and we really love to move forward with that, and all the support, all the materials we have currently, and the things now we have with Microsoft, we really would love to also share with you in the community, in the sessions as well. So there is the link, aka.ms/learning rooms, that you can use to join to the learning rooms if you aren't joined yet. So you can then ping us and you can ask your question, and you can also leverage all the content in there.
Yeah, exactly. And before we go for the next slide, which is code of conduct, I just remember that we have this small video, this short video about, it's a kind of wall of fame of Microsoft Zero to Hero. Let's have a look on this short video and be back. So yeah, thanks so much all of you for your contribution in our community. It's always appreciate that you have this dedication about the community. And next slide, actually. So code of conduct. So in Microsoft Zero to Hero live session, we expected you to be aware of others, be friendly, welcoming, be open to all question viewpoints, understanding of difference, and be kind and considerate to others. With that said, we are going to bring our amazing expert today. Hello, Bülent. Welcome to the stage again.
Hello, everyone. I get goosebumps from the video. It's like a Hollywood production. So I was very exciting. My heart is already pumping somehow. So happy to be here again.
Yeah, thank you so much that you accepted our invitation. And we are so happy to have you as the first speaker in 2025. And the topic that you are going to share, it's amazing. I believe we are going to very enjoy of the content that you are going to share with us.
I hope so.
Okay, amazing. So the stage is yours, man, and good luck.
Good luck. Awesome. So welcome everyone, and happy New Year to you. I'm really happy to be here again. It's a pleasure every time to work with Hamid and with Said here in Zero to Hero. And today's topic, I think, is an interesting one with Copilot Studio, which is one of my favorite topics. If you know me, but we will learn today a little bit more about how you can just use this. So, but before I just kick off and start with that, a little bit about me, for any case you just don't know me. So my origin is Turkish. My parents come from Turkey. That's why, but I'm living in Germany, and that's why I have both. I have Turkish blood in me, but I'm living, with the coolness of a German. Can I say it like this? And Yeah, I am now also joining the club of the MVPs since the beginning of this month. So I'm incredibly proud of that. I still can't believe this, but yeah, I'm happy. And I'm a longer time MCT Microsoft certified trainer. So I'm just doing this since a longer time, but since 1 year in the community. And in my job at Evanate, that's a company where I'm now working since 14 years now in a consulting company as a global business applications portfolio lead. So I'm not only dealing with the Power Platform, I'm also dealing with Dynamics CC5, with CRM, and with ERP. And we are maintaining a lot of training plans for our company and training our employees. So that's why that MCT title just came and flew into my portfolio a little bit earlier. But I'm very active in the community since a couple of months. Started in the beginning with 2024. That's why I'm here, and I love it here. And I'm also a speaker, blogger, trainer, and since 2-3 months also a community lead as well. And I'm really proud for all that recognition. So that's what I can say. If you want to connect, there's a QR code with this. Happy to connect to you. But I'm mostly very active on LinkedIn. I have also a channel on YouTube, which I try this time to fulfill in 2024 with a little bit more videos as I planned last year. But I also have a Blue Sky account now since beginning of this year, but I haven't put it in here. So LinkedIn, if you want to reach and connect with me, that's the best source. Now, enough about me. That's not why we're here. We're here today about one big question, and the question I'm starting with is a why. Why are we here? So this is a post some of the followers just put into one of my LinkedIn posts below. So it was about use cases with Microsoft Copilot Studio. And this guy is, I don't know this guy personally, but I found his comment very interesting. The comment says, it really is a curious situation. Microsoft is going all in with Copilot Studio, but showing all the time the same tired case studies since half a year now. So that was nearly half a year ago when he just posted this one. So this rang a bell in me, and I just saw like, okay, maybe we need to give people real life examples so people understand more the use case behind Copilot Studio. It's the same when I'm just teaching in my company that people have no clue what Copilot Studio is capable of, but I also see that in the community because you all see that shiny, maybe that announcement from Microsoft with other companies as, hey, we have now cooperation with them and they're using Copilot Studio. But the real question is at the end that everyone just asks before they really spending money in this. So what's in for me? This is the immediate ask. And this is the ask everyone just asking. And we try to solve that mystery a little bit today with some use cases so you have a better idea of what is this all about. One thing what I can just tell you about is the following. It's now called agents. So when I had this session in Oslo last November, it was still, there was a slight transition from Copilot to agents, and I'm biting my tongue. Don't say Copilot, don't say, it's now agents, agents, agents. So agents help us overcome human weaknesses. So I've seen several situations, the people who are pro AI with people who are contra AI, the ones against AI are like they're taking away the jobs and all that kind of stuff. But we have to be very honest, you are not a human being who can do everything. It would be fantastic, but it's not the case. And you will see in the use cases which I just brought to you, and it will give you a better understanding. We can't, be very good in everything. So because there's so much information now flying around, and if you are able to bring this all in your brain, please tell me how you do this. If you're taking drugs for this, please give me this drugs. I also want to do this. But to be honest, this will be a little bit hard. It's just too much information, too much skills you can have to learn to overcome. And that's why agents are very, very good in this. And these are the main points, main areas in Copilot Studio with triggers, instructions, topics, actions. It's the knowledge. And you can add any kind of knowledge source in Copilot Studio. And, you don't need to learn of that. The knowledge could be different languages. A knowledge could be, for example, how I can just repair my car, for example, if you have or maybe a tire change, from summer to winter. If you have never done this before, you should not do this right now when it's snowing heavily. So obviously it's a help, but what are the real strengths of agents? So I just will try to make it compact as possible. So first of all, I think if you're dealing with AI already, and I mean, this is already a couple of months now, in the world, it's generating content. That means this is one of the most use cases I've seen. So you have no idea how to start, for example, an article. You're just typing something in and then boom, it gets generated. You want to write some emails, but don't know how to start it, or you want to appreciate someone. So then you can also use this as well. So it generates the content, because with all the sources, and source more or less is the internet, is connected, you will get all that kind of very good ideas. And based on that, you can either use what has been generated, or you can just, get the idea and, put your own flavor into this. So generate content is definitely one strength. Another one is search and summarize. I don't know how it's for you. I've just returned to work on Thursday, so very late to the work game. And I had already 200 emails. Some people have less emails. Some people, I'm very sure, have much more emails. But, the search and summarizing is so good. So you can say, for example, search me all the emails and just tell me what is the most important action I have to do based on that. This is fantastic. Or if you have such a long article, but you don't have the time, to go through, you say, search and, summarize it me, or maybe a meeting you just missed, or even, a call in your company for 1 hour. You just say, summarize me, please, what was, talked about. So this is a real time saver. And last but not least, it's about an assistant. This is something which Microsoft hasn't started, but with the introduction of agents, or also autonomous agents, this is now going that direction. Is we have now really someone who is just taking away a bit of work from us. So I don't know how it's in your workplace, but in my workplace I can't have enough assistants, to be very honest. So it's a lot of work at the moment what I'm doing, and I'm pretty sure it's the same and similar situation you place as well. So that means in that case, it's really good to have an assistant who at least also learns from you at the same time what you like, what your flavors are, and then based on that, takes work from you. So these are, for me, the 3 real strengths of agents. That might be that you have another top 3 or top 10 or top 100, depends on how, if you can decide for. At least I could decide for me, this will be my top 3. And for me, these makes absolutely sense. These are the real strengths. So now, while all this action save you time, pretty set. And this is how you can boost your productivity. So you can produce more results. So don't let your boss find out, maybe. So you're like, oh, you are now faster, so I can give you much more work on this. So maybe there's not the right way to do, but I think your boss is your boss because he's a smart person. So in that case, he will figure it out. But at the end, it's really about boosting productivity. And if it saves time, you can just accomplish during a day much more. For example, if you're coding something and you're searching the internet all the time, yeah, that happened to me in my earlier days as a developer. I searched the internet for the code, and now you can let it generate. And if it's a good code, this is something still, questioning sometimes, but still it produces you something. And at the end, you can proceed. This is the most important part. And that's why we're here today. So we want to learn how we can boost our productivity with Copilot Studio. And I'm happy to dive into the first scenario. And one first scenario is more personal. So it's a mix of what you will have on work, and it's also something so you get a better idea of what's happening, in your personal environment. So if you have children, I think the majority of you have. If not, live your life. Don't be fast with getting children. That's my advice I can tell you. Children are fantastic. But one of the most annoying things is, especially here in winter, if a child is getting sick. And that happens. That really happens. My one is a preschool kid, so 5 years old, and he got 2 or 3 times now sick during winter. So the thing what you just do is you're calling a doctor, obviously, because if someone getting fever, this is the most super annoying thing, or maybe an ear infection or a cold, a cough, whatever. This is where you call the doctor. And I don't know how it was your doctors, but here in Germany, I have a feeling of no one is using technology. They're just using a phone and that's it. Because most of the time, I have a busy phone line. And I know if you just call it 2 or 3 times, it's okay if you're getting this. But, usually my times when I'm just doing this is about 300, 400 times calling again and again and again the same number. I know there's technology. Someone just told me you can use an app on your smartphone to do this, be more smart and all that kind of stuff. But to be honest, I'm getting angry. And I'm pretty sure everyone's getting angry, because if a child is sick, maybe you haven't got a good night, you haven't slept so much and so on. I'm feeling like I'm threatening everyone. I will come and find you. So because you also can't go to the doctor, you have to have an appointment. So at least here in Germany, but I'm pretty sure it's more or less the same in the place as well. So, and guess what? You can make your life with Copilot Studio a bit easier. So this first demo will be about voice bots. I already made some expectation management. I have installed a trial environment 2 days ago. Yesterday, it worked a little bit. Today, nothing worked. But at least I will explain you the concept behind. So in that case, you understand what is this. Oh, let me just jump now to the use case in that case. So let me just go and jump in here. And I'll start with this one. So hopefully my screen is big enough. If not, let me just make it a little bit bigger so we can read it. Today, I'm just not using glasses, so I also wondering. My eyes usually are demanding glasses, some kind of. So in that case, this is one of the examples. You can just pretty simple also easily install this one. So before I just go into this one, let me show you. So in your Copilot Studio, you do have a section which is called Explore Agents. And if you click on See More, and then you just land here in the Create action, then you see then there is something which is called Voice. So if you click on this, this is already a template which you can just use. Based off that, I have really used this template and modified a slightly bit today. So let me just go to my example for you and show you what it's all about. Now, when we have just did this, what you see now on the right side is, hello and thank you for calling the voice service. So how can I help you today? And this one has not only the text feature of Copilot Studio, it has also the voice feature as well. So let me just go into the topic and show that to you, because this is also some kind of a technical call. So let me just go into the main menu. So this is the term DTMF. So this is usually where you're typing in, something on your smartphone, and you hear that sound like doot, doot, doot when you type on some numbers. And based on that, what it's receiving, it can work like this. So what we have is here, if the voice bot would work, then it would say on the line, for fever, say fever. For cough, say cough. For cold, say cold. For ear infection, say ear infection. So, and then it also repeats again, you can press 1 or 2 or 3, 4. Sometimes if you, in a crowded environment, it's really helpful if you have that kind of options where you can just press, because sometimes Copilot Studio does not every time understand that good. So, but this will also be improved in the future as well. So this is a pretty simple one. So what I just did is, in that case, I just have put in a knowledge source, and the knowledge source is a simple one. It's this one here. So children, healthy children, and etc. So let me just open this website for you. And then you see this one. So if you're now trying to find out here, what your son has, for example, fever, if you do something like this and you're searching now for fever, and obviously it will take you longer. You don't know where to go. Fever in your baby, fever in children, and so on. So you get a lot of information. But as I said, we want that, this shall be a time saver. And a time saver is if you're calling a doctor and you have a busy line, a voice bot can help you with that. Because sometimes if you're a new parent, you only want an advice. What can I do? So let me just show that to you and just type in fever here in that case on the right side. So when I'm just doing this, what I'm getting is now information, what I can do. So, and the text is, if you have fever, it's important to monitor your symptoms and take steps to feel better, etc., etc. So you're getting a text. So this text can be improved, whatever. So if you have a local doctor, your local doctor does not have to point to website. You can also upload a document, by the way, with best practices. And this can also be used as well for advice, first advice for people who are confronted the very first time. We even talk or call the doctor every time when we have, high fever. But this is something which is, something happening all the time. So let me just refresh this one. But as I said, it's not only about the text one. So Copilot Studio offers you also that you can enter this kind of numbers here. So for example, if I want to do fever, that was number 1, if I just type in this one, then it also do the same as I have just typed in. So if you have it, and it's more or less the same text. So it generated, the text can slightly different as before, but it's more or less about the same topic. That means it generates you some text. And this is fantastic, especially if you have someone calling in, because mostly you're just calling in, and help and guide. And no one from the doctor side has to, go in the line, and you can still do your work, because you're getting a lot of phone calls. And with that, you can help a lot. So in that case, this is really helpful. Let me just quickly go how this looks like with how you can configure this one easily in Copilot Studio. So let me just go into the main menu. So what I did is I just have here asked a question, to here's this menu again, and etc., etc. And I gave some options, and I can assign DTMF key options to this one here very easily. So, and based on what the people are pressing, what I'm just doing is I'm generating an answer on this. You can also use a prompt to do this if you want to have more liable answers to this. But I think this is a fantastic idea of how you can just do this. So I just wanted to have the demo today with my phone call. Let me see. Maybe we are lucky and it works. So you never know. No, unfortunately, it says busy. It doesn't. So that's a trial version. What you do. But I told you that I wanted at least show you how this at the end works. So let me just show that to you. So what I did is I just have installed customer service, a trial version of that, which comes with omnichannel. And omnichannel stands for you have several channel options, and one of them is voice, which you just can configure. And once you have just activated some of the Copilot features there, you just go into your work stream and then have a demo voice call work stream, which is already out of the box there. Then you have also a generated phone number, which works with Azure Communication Services. And you can just configure it, what's the primary language and how it shall behave and all that kind of stuff. The most important part of this one is at the end, you're just connecting this with this bot here at the bottom, the one which you have just published in Copilot Studio. And usually if it works, then it really comes with a voice, and then it just shows you. So I hope in the next days I get it to work again, hopefully. Maybe I just need to generate another environment to let it work, and then I just put a video there so people can believe me that this is really working. All right, so this would be one scenario at the end, I would say, which makes absolutely sense how we want to do this. So let me just return back to the slides. So let me just see how I come back. Here we go. And the next scenario is languages. So language is definitely a barrier. So let me just tell you a little bit about languages. So I mean, across Europe, it's mostly clear we're speaking lots of languages. So I have a number from London, for example. If you're living in London, did you know that in London, a huge city, obviously, in England, UK, that over 450 languages are spoken there. This is really, really multi-languages there, which been spoken there. So obviously, there's some scenarios where this can really cause an issue. And I have an issue to even some people that tell me here in Germany, these kind of things can't happen. Yes, it happens. We have also some people living here. They don't speak the German language. And if they call then the doctor and they don't speak the language, some kind of irritation just happens. And most of the time the doctor gets also louder, like, yeah, now I'm just talking louder so you can understand me better. Of course, increasing the volume always, helps you to understand on the other side, but not the language, mostly the frustration. So what can we do? And that's, where Copilot, you got me, agents, of course, are also, good enough as well. It translates you very well in your language, how this works. So in that case, let me just show you how that with the translation works. So let me just go back to my environment with Copilot Studio. Here we go. And we can stay here as well. That's really not a problem. So for example, now, instead of just I'm typing fever, or what I can say, so we can in English. So we start in English. What can I do against fever? In that case, it will now give you a more precise answer to that question, because it generates it now. So a fever is usually caused by infections, viruses, and bacteria, and etc., etc. So, but you can also ask the same question, for example, in German. If I can write it correctly, of course. Yeah. So here we go. So, and this source is English. It's not German, obviously. But what happens is now some kind of magic, because you will get now the answer in German. Ha! Of course. I thought it would get in German. But maybe I've just started that already in English. Let me see. Let me just give it a try again. Demo gods. So let me see if this works. So if he got me the answer. So let me try again. No, he doesn't want to this time. All right. Why not? Let me just type this one and let me see what he's trying. There. He's against me today. So when I say one, so let me see if this kind of things is working now. But what is curious, since I'm just returned from vacation, so it doesn't want to translate. But believe me, also here, it really works. Usually yesterday when I tested this, it just gave me all the answers then in German. But this is something with generative AI. So this is something which you just have to test and test again, because this is always that component which you need to test if everything's working out. If you would use this in prompts, then you can also give some kind of instructions. And that kind of instructions, you can be a little bit more reliable and just give much more better answers to this. So in that, usually it worked. That's why I trusted that it worked today as well, but it's Saturday, some kind of weekend. All right, good. But again, I will just give more or less a video to this in the next weeks and on my channel. So then you have also then the chance just to see this working as well. All righty. Good. What can I do next with you? The next scenario is also an interesting one. So the next scenario is about autonomous agents. And in that case, I do have an autonomous hotel booking agent. I don't know how it is with you, but I find that if you just go to a booking site like booking.com and so on, and you have tons of options what you can book, and what you're starting is get the best price and maybe to the closest locations where you want to go, but sometimes you just don't want to do this. So in my company, for example, there's a service. You just call a service and say, book me in hotel, please. And obviously, they're just taking a fee for that from the project. And then based on that, but it just saves you some time. So how about that you send an email request? I mean, if you have already an hotel, you want to go, you just can send them an email. So what can happen with emails is that one of the agents, working there is just not seeing your email. So, and then in case it might be then, a blocker that you don't get an answer and you're just writing in and so on. So you just wanted to take the shortcut and you just at the end stressed maybe that things are not working. But what happens if an autonomous agent is in the back and handling this one automatically? So in that case, what I want to demonstrate today is you send an hotel request, a booking request, and then instead of a human being, there's an agent processing with your request in the back. And then the agent is doing the reservation, and then you will get a confirmation via email. So this is really cool. And I mean, this is, what autonomous agents are all about. These are your assistants, which really helps you that things are getting easier for you in that case. So they're working more independently as the previous agent. So the previous agent, after you've seen, you have something to type in, and then you get a result. Autonomous agents are a little bit different. In that case, you're just getting the results based on a trigger. So something triggers the agent, and based on then some actions will be running. The good thing about this one is this can be a long-running automated process. So this can be really, really long-running, which is really cool. And Microsoft says it learns and improves based on that. So if you try this with a trial version, obviously it will not work. But if you have purchased a license and your company has purchased a license and worked with that, it shall become better and better and learns from you. And this is something which I think really, really cool. And I think this year last year, the end of last year was already, a hype with agents. I think 2025 will be much more about this. Maybe it's a year of agent then in that case. So, but in this case, let's just do and demonstrate how an hotel reservation can look like. In that case, let me just jump over then to my demo again. So in that case, what I'm just doing is I'm just going, first of all, to Copilot Studio and just to the agents. I have just created an hotel reservation. By the way, I needed to create it today again, because when I just returned back from vacation, I just found out that my trial has been expired. I thought I would still have some time, but it's not only expired, they have just completely deleted my environment. It's not even, in the trash bin to find out. I'm like, okay, challenge accepted. So in that case, I just have developed that more or less today again. So just to show and demonstrate you how it works. So what you're just doing is you do have an hotel reservation, and you just give a shiny description like this. The agent shall make an hotel reservations when an email comes in. And you give some instructions. So the instructions is analyze the incoming email you're receiving and extract the text and make an hotel reservations, and then use the reservation action to run. So what it's doing in the back is these are here the most important ones, the actions and the triggers. So first of all, let's start with a trigger. You can define several triggers, and also the UI changed, and I have no idea why the graphics are not shown. I just say this has something to do with my graphics. Some bad tongues will even say, yeah, you're using a Mac, that's the reason. But I don't think that's really the reason about. But for some reason, the icons are not showing for me. The only one which showing is for the recurrence one. I have no idea why. I didn't have figured that out. But at the end, believe me, these are the featured one. If you just go on all, you have much more on triggers. Currently, you can't develop your own custom triggers. I hope this will come in the future, because I think this is really, really cool. But yeah, let's see how's it going. You see, this is all Dataverse partly, and this one, he just steps up and shows. I don't know, and some icon just shows. Maybe the icons he just loves most just shows up some kind of. Some of the features, one is when an email arrives, which I just have taken, and then you can just configure this one. So let me just do this one, and I have just prepared an email already. So a pretty simple one. So not much text. So because I don't have time to type much of text, I have an hotel room reservation wish, and I'm saying, hey, this is my name, and I want to book a room from February 1st to February 2nd. So I've used now the American nomenclature. You can just use, because there's a power automate behind, and make it much nicer, and can have, for all use cases, make it a bit better flow after this. But for this today, I think it should. Before I send this out here, let me show you the reservation flow as well. So let me just go in here and show this one, make it a little bit bigger, what's happening here in the background. So technology. So what happens is, if you just click and add now a new action, some action just generates a little bit more on context, like this one with the flow a little bit less, so you still have to do something. You're starting with that run a flow from Copilot. So what you're just doing, you're getting that information from the first step, from this analyze step, remember? So analyze the email which are coming in. I haven't sent the email out yet. I will do it any second. So if I'm just going, I'm using a prompt here. And this prompt looks like this in that case. So this is one in the prompt library with AI Builder, which you can just use. And it only just says, extract the first name, the last name, the start date, and the end date. And your response should include all of that items, which I've just told you. And I have just put in as a demo, this is a text, and I have put in the sample data, exactly the same like comes now in the email. So if I test now this prompt, you will get this kind of things. And at least this works because prompts are out of preview. That's why they're working very reliable. And I can really recommend you, if you're using these kind of things in your project, go with prompts. Prompts are really good. And now you're getting that kind of information in a better way. Previously the email looks like this, and he just derived, all the important information like this. As you can see from here, I've just used normal natural text in that case, or normal natural language. I haven't put any kind of code, and he just did it like this. This is amazing. So let me just go back. So, and if you believe me, if I just click on this one, I've used this one. This is my preferred way of how I just do this, because it works a little bit faster for me, but you can also write your own prompt here directly in Power Automate. That's also possible. But this way for me is, I found out for myself, just as a tip for you, it works a little bit faster. What I just do in the following things are just, some kind of Power Automate magic, Power Automate flow magic. So compose like an enter key, as you can see, I just have entered only a key here. In the next step, what I'm just doing is here, I'm using everything what I'm getting from this prompt, and I'm just now splitting all that up at the end so I can use that information. At the end, I'm just getting an array with 4 variables where I have that information. And this has been all then divided by this compose enter key, because this is how at the end, you're just getting all this kind of information. That's why I'm using it like this. Now, what I'm just doing is I'm initializing a room ID variable. This is just some magic that's not really necessary. It's only interesting for that scenario. What I'm doing is I'm adding now in Dataverse, that's a table which we're using in Power Platform. I'm adding into the customer table now this one person which doesn't exist. So let me just go now to Dataverse, and I've just have here a model-driven app, and I have customers, reservations, and rooms. So there are several rooms. This one is in that case hard-coded. I just said I just want to go to the Wonderland, because that's my favorite one. And as you can see in the customers, you don't see my name here, right? So I'm not here. So I will never in real life belong to these people. If you look at the lifetime value, maybe with MVP title, my lifetime value is now increased by, I don't know, $2. I have no idea. But obviously, these are real celebrities, and but I just want to sneak now between them. I want to, at least in this demo, will be also like a shining person between all that stars here. And here at the reservation, you see there's nothing reserved. So I can refresh, so you see there's nothing there. Good. Our idea and our goal in that case is, at the end, I'm adding now this person. I'm just getting now from this new created row, the ID. I'm listing all the rooms. I'm just going with a for loop for each slide until do and get that information. I make then a new reservation there. And the reservation looks like this in that case. So with yes, the start date and the end date. So this is, for example, whose looks like if I'm just creating this one. This is in the previous step, when we just have divided, created an array and divided all the data there. Then this is the way how I'm just getting all that information by adding this one here. And at the end, I'm sending an email. So you can also have several actions, several flows to do this. But I just put this, for the time meaning, everything into one. So now let me just show you how this all works. Let's do the demo. Enough blah, blah talk. Now let me just go in here to my emails. And I'm now clicking on send. Oh, here we go. So what I'm now doing is the following. So in that case, here we go. My name is Bülent. I want to book a room, blah, blah. So this is usually who really works in hotel will get now the information, but this person may be getting so many emails and is not there, is maybe sick or just have been gone to lunch or whatever. So the agent shall do this immediately. So what's happening now, if I'm just going now back to Copilot Studio. So I just go now to the triggers, and then there is this test trigger here. And it just shows me, this is my German time, by the way. So if you're somewhere else, like in the US side or Canada side, or whatever, it's slightly different, but believe me, it also shows me I don't have so much time anymore, so I have to speed up. In that case, this is the trigger which has just started. So now let me just go and look now how this looks like. So let me just go to here and, now he just have created now this kind of information in the database. So what he did in first place, he just created me so I can at least feel for 15 minutes like a celebrity with my name, and I have not put in any kind of lifetime value. Then it would be something like $1, $2. That would be really not that nice. So, and reservations, he just put me and created this one, and this all automated. So without that, I have to do anything else, just with an autonomous agent. And this is how this all works. And I think this is really great. This is really a great scenario, which we can use it for. Good. But, you say, okay, this was some personal demos, and now the hotel reservation, that's a little bit more enterprise, but still small. But there's also some enterprise scenarios as well. I'm just bringing some from my company, which we just have introduced during Ignite last year in November. So, and this is about the shopping experience. So this is something maybe you can also feel when you just go like the big distributor like Amazon or maybe other ones, that there's so much and you just don't know where to search and which keyword and so on, and which is the right one. You just go through a whole of list. You're trusting all that 5-star ratings, where we know these are fake because this is more or less the same, and they try to influence it by this one. But one of the things is an inefficient discovery, and you have so many informations. We are so overwhelmed with that kind of things. There are also other web presences where maybe have more worse situations just to do this, and maybe you just have a brand customer gap, and sometimes you're about to buy it, but you don't. At the end you say, maybe I just don't need it, and so on. And maybe it's also a complex ecosystem. These all at the end leads that, this have been created, a shopper Copilot, which just helps you. This is not only related to Copilot Studio, but I just wanted to show you that not Copilot Studio is the solution for everything. It can be also a part of that. So in that case, when you a shopper and start and you make it, for example, with a website or with a mobile app or even with other platforms, in that case, Copilot Studio can be the front end, to make that kind of decisions, or it can also even be an Azure bot framework in the back, just to bring in, that flavor. We are also an Azure community as well. And then in the end, what just happens, then it's just kind of magic for me. But maybe you're just familiar with that kind of things. But it's really cool seeing how much Azure technology is at the end behind just to make that kind of a Copilot just happens. But Copilot Studio is also in, and it can be helpful. And this is some kind of a enterprise scenario. So, but there are more scenarios. It can be, for example, simple things like you're just going to the meeting room, or you don't know which meeting room is free, and this can assign you one, or maybe even a meeting room explainer. For example, you have a projector there, but it's some kind of voodoo how it works. In that case, what it's just doing is that it just gives you an explanation how to start this. For example, we were in a conference in Oslo and we didn't know how to start the projector after lunchtime because it just shut down after 30 minutes and went to sleep mode. But one of the things where I am really have problems with, legal issues and tax returns. So I have no idea how this works, how people can really learn for that kind of stuff. I couldn't. And it couldn't be, Copilot a huge help for us in that case to solve that magically, because, all the legal stuff, changes frequently over the year. And I have no time to follow what is now new, what I have just to consider. And also the same with the legal stuff. So, for example, you have a problem, because your basement is overflowed with water, and everything what you have is now a problem. And now you just, you don't know if your insurance is now taking care of that because you have signed something, right? So, but it's mostly a 60, 70, 100 pages document. And if you're reading everything carefully, understand, congratulations, but I have sometimes no idea what you're just talking about, and I have no time to do this. So I'm signing it. So you will say, okay, it's my bad why I'm just doing this. But in that kind of Copilot can also help you and say if my contract or my insurance is really helping me in that case or not in that scenario. And this could be also things like this. So let me show you one video in that case. So this is a meeting room helper in that case. So that was also shown during Ignite in one of the PowerPoint slide decks, which I've just taken, and just says, hey, I'm in the office and I can't connect to the Teams meeting in this room. So what can I do? And at the end, this is, a Copilot or an agent been deployed to Teams. In that case, it just brings up and with some kind of steps, which you can just try out and hope that at the end you can just then connect. So you're just getting then more or less some instructions and try these kind of things out. So this can also be helpful as well. So the next one is the legal one. So, and this could be, for example, simple things like ask a legal question and you're just asking something and it just can help you here as well. So what are the relevant cases and the statuses for tenancy dispute in the state of California? You see American company, American questions in their case, and we're just getting also some kind of answers here as well. So let me just jump over and just tell you what's new with Copilot Studio. There are a lot of cool things just coming in the upcoming months. And one of the things is improved AI answers, which is really cool. The extensibility from the previous example with the legal stuff, M65 extensions, which were good. You will get much better analytics, the agent or agentic capabilities, which is good. One of my highlights is definitely the integration into Azure AI. You can now, it will be much easier to integrate everything what is in Azure. Azure is a really treasure of, and I think people here will not really disagree with me, that in that case, you're just getting a lot of cool stuff from there, and you can now in the future integrate that with Copilot Studio much easier. One of my favorite is that generative EFRs in that case, so interactive voice response. And this is where you also get the chance, you don't need omnichannel and customer service for that. So that what I have understood is that you are now able also to use voice from Copilot Studio. But we will see that in the upcoming months, how good this is. So the last minutes, I just rushed a little bit. Hopefully it was okay, because maybe you might have a question And yeah, again, if you want to connect with your smartphones like this, then you can just do. But I'm happy to answer any kind of questions which are there.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Bülent. Great as usual. We learned a lot from you. And yeah, as an Azure guy here, I agree with you. That AI feature connection to Azure AI is going to be the one of my first favorite one as well. So yeah, thank you so much. We got some questions. I'm going through them one by one.
Sure.
So let's start with this one. So this is the first question. Does knowledge need to be only a website? Could it be a PDF book as well?
Yes. So there are several knowledge sources which you can use. The website is one. You can also use PDFs as well, or in general, you can upload a document. So that can be a Word file, it can be a PowerPoint, it can be a PDF, it can be several other things which you can just upload. It can also be used as well.
Amazing. Also, we got a question from Shamim. What would add to the doctor's trade agent is ability for the responder to add image of a rush, for example, and a doctor not a note for the child's school to prove they are ill or self medical attention. Is it possible?
Yes and no. So yes, it is possible also to include pictures into this. That capability with the picture and so on is getting more and more improved. This is based more on the history how Copilot Studio started. The previously when it started, it was only a text-based one, and that's because of the large language model behind. So Copilot Studio is now upgraded to the 4.0 GTP 4.0 one, and it will become in the future already GTP 4.40. O stands for Omni. That means it's not only text, it's also pictures, it's also videos, etc., etc. You can see it partly in Copilot Studio, but not everywhere. And based on that, this should also be possible in the future as well. You can already upload pictures. I'm pretty sure that feature of downloading something or providing something is something which will come. I can't tell you when. You can develop something, currently more custom-like, but it will come. And I think then this is a really great idea, by the way, how you can just download and also make life easier with that, especially with that note for not going to the school, for example.
Exactly. Okay, so we have Martini. Is the voice feature currently limited to English, or does it support additional languages as well?
More languages. Today I've shown that only in English, obviously, because the audience, this is a common language where we can talk, right? But obviously it also supports several languages.
Okay. And another question from same person: what metric or KPI would you recommend tracking to measure the ROI of implementing Copilot Studio in an organization?
Well, there is already metrics there, the analytics, where you can see how good the agent is performing. This is still, more or less from the old times before it has been renamed from Power Virtual Agents to Copilot Studio. But there's analytics ones which will become much better. So in the future, and then you will have much better KPIs to measure also the return of investment.
Perfect. Question from Mehdi. Are the AI models available through Copilot Studio derived from open source models? If yes, is it possible to replace them with our own fine-tuned model weight?
Is it more a question to the Azure guys here in this call? Because if you can import this one in Azure, then it should be possible in the future also to access them through Azure in Copilot Studio as well.
Yeah, I think it's kind of connected to this next question from Mehdi, because I know him. He's pretty much working with hybrid environment. So I know why he asked this question. So is it possible to use Copilot Studio in hybrid scenario or self as part of its components resources? So I think it's the same answer from you, right?
Yeah. You have seen that also there was Avanade shopping Copilot. You see, there was also some kind of hybrid scenario as well, which has been placed as well. So it can also be. What will also come is some kind of real API. So before, it didn't have really a real API where you can access this one. But this will also come, and then you can also use it more as a component as well.
Yeah. And another question, does that mean that when I go to a website and ask the agent there about something, someone built it? That's true, right? Yeah.
Well, I don't know how the future will be. I don't know if you have seen that Satya Nadella has gave a interview. I haven't seen that interview, but only that title, like "SAS is dead," right?
Yeah.
So maybe it goes in that direction, because now if you just go into the Copilot chat, you just tell something to Copilot, and it already has been a moderator, for example, and gives you the answers back. And I think it goes in that direction. In the future, that you only tell something, it will be automatically then built for you. How good it is, how reliable this is another question. So I don't think that the system integrators will be unemployed the next day. So
Yeah.
because still, it's Technic, and Technic is always, famous for can fail. And based on that, I'm pretty sure we still have a job after tomorrow regarding this one.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we're always saying AI is feature and feature is today.
Yes.
And another question from Mehdi, is there built-in integration between Copilot Studio and Microsoft Fabric and Azure Data Lake to accelerate working with large data sets?
So yes and no again. Or maybe a yes or slightly yes, because I don't have an experience with that. So any kind of Fabric or Power BI question is my personal kryptonite. I can't answer. But what I can say is there is a way of using Microsoft Fabric also as a knowledge source. It was promoted by Microsoft for a really long time, for a couple of months. And there was always that it comes. We don't know when, but it comes. It was in private preview, but then it disappeared, and now it slightly appeared again. So Microsoft plans to integrate Fabric into this, because Fabric is, where you get a lot of information on one source, and it would be really stupid not to connect to this one. And you can manage that from Fabric. And Azure Data Lake, I've seen something as well there. How good it works with large data sets really depends on more, I think, on the scalability of Fabric and Azure Data Lake as for Copilot Studio, because you just ask something, the main work more or less been done on the Fabric side, and then you're getting something back, and Copilot Studio is more or less displaying that information.
Exactly, that's true. And let's go with the last question, again from Mehdi. If an agent that users are directly working with is involved, what items should we consider to prevent excessive cost in a short period of time?
Oh, well, a good question. I would say I would just do it, and this is why you should not trust fully just Copilot is just building everything to you because of the cost question. It should be calculated, with everything before, or estimated before, right? With all the requirements. You have to be very clear about this scenario. And my experience is if clients are going in, they have their scenarios, maybe their requirements, but they're not really clear about how it's been implemented. So this is the job of the system integrator in that case, or anyone who's been experienced. It can also be a one-man or one-woman show. And this person at the end has to calculate how it goes. Microsoft has just give us now the option with pay as you go, for Copilot since December. And based on that, this is then the scenario which you can just try out and find out how many people are using Copilot. And it's also about the use case. Do you use it internally or do you use it externally? If you use it only internally, and maybe you have, let's say, M65 licenses, then Copilot Studio is already included. So then the cost is not really a topic then in that case. But if you want to use it, for example, placing on the website, you just don't know. You can't assign the world licenses in that case. So you need message packs for that. Or you just use this pay-as-you-go feature, which has been there. But really, before you go with this one, you have just really to analyze, what are the use cases the person or the company, try to achieve with that, and try to make it a guess. And based on that, you can just try to estimate how much it would cost.
Yeah. I think in all the AI scenario, doesn't matter in Copilot or even inside Azure OpenAI, you still need to go through token size and some estimation that you need to do based on the project you are going to have. So sometimes it's pretty much too hard. It's pretty much hard to estimate. However, you can get some rough estimate based on the token and size of the token you are going to use. But yeah, that's true. So yeah, that was the last question. I bring back this slide. So anyone that would like to connect to Bülent in social media, don't hesitate. He's always open to answer the questions, and he's very nice guy. I know him. I'm so happy that I met him in person in Scotland. But yeah, so make sure that you follow him, and we've got some special thank you to you. So the people loved about the presentation demo that you showed us here. So thanks so much, Bülent. What I can say, amazing. What I can say, thanks to you. And people, don't forget to join us next week's session. Very soon, we are going to release a new structure of the time of the sessions very soon to be able to cover different time zones. As you know, it's pretty much hard for us to cover all of the time zones around the globe, but we really love to do that. So very soon we will share some more information, so stay tuned. So before we go, Hamid, you have something to share?
No, I just enjoyed it. Loved our very first session for 2025. Thank you so much, Bülent. Really enjoyed
Welcome.
it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much. Perfect. Then thanks, everyone. See you soon next week, and enjoy your weekend. We love you, and thanks for your being part of this community. Have a good one. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.